welcome to the Scout Outpost Investigators podcast. I'm your host, Softy Mage, and we got everybody here for your co-hosts. Co-host Savadra.
Hello.
Co-host Thirsty Blood.
Greetings, people.
And co-host Chap from Canada.
Hello.
So today we're going to be talking about the initial Shiyu defense for this week. It is the September 26th Shiyu defense till anytime after that. And then we got Deadly Assault that came in the week prior. And then we're going to go over the disc sets that came out as of patch 2.2 to see what our thoughts on those disc sets have been. Since this podcast will be coming out just right after the, or right around when the 2.3 live stream comes out, so we can't do any speculations on that. So, you guys, what is our thoughts on this week's Shiyu defense?
It was alright. I like the new boss. I like... The Defector feels very dynamic.
Yeah, I agree on that part. I like it as well.
Yeah, it's very much a mix between a lot of the doppelgangers and even like the smoke screen from the bomber. Like a lot of mixed characters all into one, so it made it very, very fun.
I just appreciate that her stun window is like not super short.
Yeah, for a doppelganger, she's got a not short stun window. It's pretty nice. I myself, I like the Shiyu. It felt nice seeing it's gonna be a weird sentence to say, but it felt nice seeing Thanatos and Goblin again after so long for the lower floors. I did like when I got to Node 6, it did feel like this was kind of something kind of clicked in my mind in terms of like feeling somewhat familiar. Turns out that it's basically just floor 6 from season 29, but reversed. So Terror Raptors on the first half this time, and Typhon Challengers on the second side, and there's no mob wave, so it's just those enemies directly in the Shiyu compared to 29. So that was pretty nice.
It's such an oddly specific encounter to compare it to.
I had the brain blast memory in my skull about like when I saw them. I was like, wait a minute, this feels familiar.
Wait a minute, I've done this before. I have entered these ends.
This is true. But yeah, and then seeing one of the Robomechs again after so long in floor 7, very cool.
It's actually nice that the Raptor has showed up again, honestly. So this is a fine addition, definitely, that he comes more often again.
Yeah, I think the Shiyu overall, like, it's like kind of addresses most of my gripes that I've had with the last few Shiyus, and that like the lower floors have felt mostly stagnant in terms of enemy variety, but that's not the case as much in this lower floor Shiyu. And then 6 and 7 are honestly like really fun and generally really diverse in terms of options, because the weaknesses, there's like 3 out of 5 direct weaknesses, and then there's like neutrality for basically every element.
True.
Yeah, you're
pretty cool.
You're not forced to play exactly the weakness, because otherwise you won't be able to do any damage. You'll actually have the ability to do neutral damage should your account require it. I definitely see that.
But yeah, feels like a pretty nice Shiyu. A bit of a breather of a Shiyu after the entire. We had that whole talk last episode about how like the buff felt catered, and I think this one is kind of the same, but not nearly as bad. Mostly because you can use a lot more compositions that take like advantage of the actual buff a lot better. The aftershock part is a little rough, but we can talk about that.
So let's just go over the buff right now. The buff is when there's 1 to 2 agents that attack, especially squad agents, ignore 10% for 1 and then 20% for all damage resistance when hitting enemies. Then aftershock hits agents, critical damage increased by 60% for 10 seconds, repeating trigger refresh for the duration. Do you guys see where we're shilling here?
Yeah.
Of course. But honestly, I have to say the aftershock buff is actually really good because there is plenty of aftershock agents now in the game. And there's also a free version, which is called Pulchra, the kitty. Some people like her a lot. So you get basically free 60% crit damage with Pulchra, or if you have now the new one, Orphe, or Trigger, Fufu. Even Yusuha has aftershock mechanics, so all these agents allow you to use the crit damage bonus buff, which is actually really good. And I see it as a win for even free-to-play gamers when they can use Pulchra for it. So it's actually pretty good. If you combine Pulchra with the 4-piece summit set, this is free 90% crit damage, just saying. So you can work on that.
I want to say... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that you can definitely tell that the shilling was for Seed and for Orpheus, and probably even Sandby. Sandby pullers are eating good this Shiyu.
That's for sure, yeah.
Sandby pullers are eating good this patch, period, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. So I want to say that the buff actually does not matter, and I only say that because I ran this Shiyu, at least Shiyu 7, with no buffs activated. I had Yishwen, Qingyi, Astra on the first half, and then I did Bernice, Jane, and Caesar on the second half for the new boss on Shiyu 7. And I might have had a hiccup on the second one once or twice, but other than that, I was able to do the dodges, I was able to get the under 5 minutes, and I didn't need the buff. But then again, I just might have the skill to do that. So if you guys go with the enemy weaknesses, you can possibly go without needing to worry about the buff. I'm gonna be truly honest here.
Yeah, I think that's another reason why people generally like the Shiyu, is that you don't feel forced, because yes, the buffs are good, but I think they've tweaked the health so that it's not... You don't need to have like an insane team and both weaknesses matched to like actually do it. And it also helps with enemy overlap, because there's only like one resistance on all of them. Like we said before, you can use neutrally effective agents and it'll still be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, the Shiyu is actually really well balanced, honestly. Of course, there's the shield buff present, but at the same time, again, it's like if you have one attack agent in your team, you already get a part of the first buff, and if you use any aftershock related agent, you also get the other buff. So it's not only completely limited to the shield buff, but so you have alternatives, which is, in my eyes, a good thing if you can use more than the new agents.
Something that kind of comes to my mind as like a kind of background thought amidst the whole like kind of discussion from the community around where the like game direction is going in terms of end game design. There's been a lot of talk about it. There was like a ton of videos. We put our own input in our last episode, and also since then, Kete has thrown his hat in the ring, and Honestly, if you haven't seen that video is a absolute banger, and you should watch it because I think he is completely right on basically every front that he presents. But in regards to like where that discussion will continue to go, it's not going away. I can basically guarantee that this is just going to be a perpetual conversation of like, you know, Zenless's continually evolving identity. And like in the back of my mind right now in regards to that is how much different is a Shiyu like this next time like there's a heavy attacker focused patch. How much different this is going to look when there are more rupture agents on the like in the roster, because we do know Lucia and Idari are drip marketed right now, and as of this recording, the special program for 2.3 will be tomorrow, but they are distinct from attackers since they're rupture classes. So I just wonder, you know, how is this gonna look in maybe, I don't know, 2-3 patches from now if they circle back to just hyper attacker focused stuff, while still trying to fit rupture in there? Like, where's that gonna go?
Yeah,
That's just something I want to keep in the back of my mind and keep in the back of the listener's mind.
Yeah, I will be honest, I am slightly concerned with Rupture just because it kind of seems like DPS or Attack Agent Plus. I think that's been kind of like a sentiment that's stewing a little bit. The problem is we only have one example right now, and Yijuan is kind of an exception in the fact that she's just absurdly powerful regardless that she's a Rupture. Like, if she were just an attack, I think she would be pretty good, regardless if she ignored or enemy defense. So,
I mean, when you think about it, and I had someone point this out to me the other day, but if you're using Orpheus, Trigger, and Nicole in the same team, you have 100% def down. So it's basically an attacker rupture comp when you think about it.
Yeah.
if you squint really hard, you are correct.
Wink, wink, wink. Oh, well, I mean, yeah,
this does imply that they
definitely-
have their signatures, Trigger and Orpheus as well. But besides that, it's just very funny to think about.
we definitely have to keep that in mind and make comparisons. I'm actually having a project working on that will have comparisons for the future. No more, I won't tell too many details, but I'm actually working on it because I'm very interested, and so I want to have a little analytic, sorry, English, comparison for the future patches.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where things go. As for the here and now, though, sorry, I kind of drifted us a little off topic immediately, but I just kind of wanted to get that out because it was on my mind for a little bit. As for the here and now, and specifically the enemies, you know, given that most of 4 and 5 have been the same but kind of different, Thanatos is Thanatos, Guardian is Guardian, the doppelgangers are doppelgangers. Can't really talk too much about them specifically. Now that we haven't already said, unless anyone's got like special niche strategies they've come up with for dealing with those mob waves or something like that.
Not really.
No, they're the same. They've always been. It's, I don't know. They've been around since the game started. I don't think it changes a whole lot.
I just wish they'd stop using Doppelganger Jane and whatever that one guy is right next. Those
Hugo,
two together.
or-
Just,
Oh no! You mean the?
Oh,
or
you
not
mean
Jade. I
Pulchra
meant
and Morse,
Pulchra
not
and
Jane.
Morris.
Pulchra.
That was my bit.
Yeah.
Pulchra and Moors, definitive worst duo in the game.
Mm-hmm. Need to stop putting him in.
Incredibly annoying. We don't like iframes on our enemies.
Actually, you know what would be interesting? A battle with all current available shadow enemies. That would be interesting.
That'd be kind of cool. Like a elite wave of, you know, like the lower class doppelgangers, and then like going into a battle with
all at the same
the next
time.
one.
All at the same time.
Oh, all at the same time. Okay,
yeah.
Well, never mind.
That'd just be Shiyu 1, side 2. So both sides into one. It'd be like you have 5 minutes to face all these doppelgangers. Let's go.
At the same time, oh man, I would love that, honestly. Like, this would be a whole rumble.
All I hear is torture.
Defense agent's shield, I'm just saying.
If they eventually introduce like a boss rush game mode, or like something for like kind of more specifically, like not what we have with Shiyu or Deadly Assault right now, which is possible, I will look forward to that, and I will scorn your name in silence when I see it.
Yeah, I would take the full blame on it, and I will be proud for it. Oh well. But yeah, I think the newest one we have to we could talk a little bit about all the Shiyu bosses. I mean, we do know Hans. He doesn't appear that often, but he appeared again. And then we have our the Defector, the doppelganger. I think this one is maybe something we can talk a little bit about.
Yeah, we can go into detail on these ones. Let's go with the Defector, and we'll end with Hans. So Defector, as in the second half, what do you guys think of the new boss that just came out?
I think she's quite dynamic and fun. I like her a lot better than the Defiler, I will say that for sure.
It's kind of crazy, because in context, like, they're the same person. It's just like you got the like. I don't know why they did this in the story actually. When it's like, I would have expected the like, you know, doppelganger fight first and then the transformation into the Defiler, but Isolde just kind of went strongest attack first, kind of Undertale Sans type deal. It was like, that was really cool. I will say, I also really liked, like, this is exclusive to the story, but I really liked the like specific scripted action scene, like in the Defector fight with Orpheus and Magus, the QuickTime event thing that kind of appeared there. It was like a bit of a jump scare that was like really cool, and I'm generally very glad that they did not carry that over to the Shiyu fight. I wasn't expecting them to, but it would have been, one, very difficult, and two, probably very annoying to deal with that.
Honestly, I think it would be interesting though, wouldn't it?
I would like more QuickTime events personally, but I think like in terms of how it was implemented, I think it was basically just right for just having it as like a special thing between Orpheus and Isolde.
Yeah, true. It's pretty special. But I mean, if I imagine it like that, if they introduce this to Shiyu, for instance, I could imagine it like that it doesn't require time, but it's like just a little screen effect, you know, for a few seconds.
Yeah, I would think that people would probably get annoyed with it. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, I guess.
It's cool for the first time, but if you... Like, if she keeps appearing, like, you know, when a new boss gets introduced, they start appearing on rotations a lot more frequently than the rest of them do. For the next little bit, I think people would get annoyed with it pretty quick.
I mean, you could implement it just in a few instances, you know, and not everywhere. But I get what you mean. Yeah.
And then also, the trend with them is that it does consume time. Like, you know, the Defiler, with the blood tsunami and the soldiers charging. You can't deal damage to her, but you're still using time while that happens. I feel like they would probably just do that, which
It would
would
be
annoy
much
people.
shorter, but it is still at its core that principle. So yeah.
I just think people would get annoyed with it over time.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few people for sure that would get annoyed with it. Yeah.
I think it would be really funny if it actually did exist in Shiyu, but only when you take Orpheus and Magus into the fight.
That would be... Nobody would play anymore, probably.
Nobody would play Orpheus
They
Magus
wouldn't do
then.
that, but it would be really funny.
It would be hilarious in a way, yeah. Instant miasma annihilation if you make the quick time event.
True, though.
See, okay, maybe if you implemented like that, I could see it. But that would kind of be like a more game-wide thing. Because she would be the only one you can instantly get rid of the miasma on.
I think this is honestly fine, because there's a few bosses that basically you can instantly annihilate the miasma. Hugo is an example which we had talked about in the last podcast by Savatra. If you parry, when he forms his miasma and parry all his attacks, you basically finish all his miasma right away. So it's like there is options already where the miasma is cancelled out very quickly. And also the Fiend loses a lot of miasma if you do her little gameplay. So it's not like the miasma is so cancerous that you have to deal with it for 1 minute or so. So there's already options implemented gameplay wise where you can annihilate like between, let's say, 40 to 80% of the miasma of boss enemies. So this is already in the game, just in a different perspective and way of gameplay. You have to know it in a way because they don't explain it.
I guess it's just, I feel like it's a slippery slope type of deal where it can get annoying really fast. So if I were the one calling the shots, I'd probably just be like, leave it for the hype moments and aura. When we're actually playing the game, we'll beat it out, you know?
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, it's subjective anyways, so you know, everyone has a different kind of approach. I like those little shenanigans, honestly, but I do understand the time thing. And yeah, on hindsight to that, it would probably get really long and annoying if you have to repeat it every time, especially for speedrunners that, for instance, try to do the perfect run and they have to, for 16 hours, have to always do this stuff. Might get annoying. Yeah, I agree on that one.
Did anyone notice anything in terms of specific like mechanics with the Isolde fight? Because with Jan, I don't think there's actually anything super special with Jan, besides like, you know, the fact that she has like her little self parry that you can instantly parry. I think is the closest I can like really reach for something special. Hugo has this slowdown phase for like the doppelganger design period that like gives you a bunch of days or kills the miasma shield when you parry all the stuff. Anyone notice anything particular like that with Isolde? Because I couldn't find it after.
No, she's just a very fundamentals fight. And honestly, I kind of like that even in lore. She's not trying to do anything crazy or special. She's trying to hit you.
That lines up with her character, I think. I like that, if that's the case.
Softy, have you seen something during your fights?
I just noticed that it does switch between a lot of like parryable and dodgeable attacks. So you definitely have to watch which one she's going to be doing. Like those red and yellow flashes are definitely indicators you need to watch for.
I guess she has a stance switch or something. That's pretty cool, honestly.
I saw a few things about her when I was fighting with her a little bit more with my Korean team. So she had in a pit, she has like a smoke bomb that is basically one of her parries or dodge mechanics, where she teleports away from you, and then you actually, I think it is permanent, you always get a yellow flash then, which you can parry afterwards. So it's like a smoke scream ninja effect where she throws it on the ground, she teleports back, and then she will attack you from afar. This is one of the mechanics that appear. I think after that usually come some like flash attacks, which you can only dodge. What I also noticed is, I think I heard some people say that dodging Isolde is a little bit odd of the timing. I don't think it is really the timing. You have to be really quick on Isolde. She is more of a reaction-based boss, I noticed. You have to be really fast, her time windows are short. And it is very funny. She is so fast with her, let's say, animation steps that I noticed with Korin or even with Fufu, if you dodge it, your camera will swing around a little bit. Not in a bad way, but you notice that suddenly you look in a different direction because the boss is on the other, like on 90 degrees on the other side. But you manage to hit her regardless. So it's very interesting. She's so agile that when you dodge her, don't be surprised about it. You will still hit her, but the camera switch is pretty aggressive on that part.
You say that now, and I remember when I'm dodging with Jane, that's what actually happened, was the camera just swinged around.
Yeah, exactly, because she's so agile. I think what she does, I should watch one of the videos I made. I think she does like she rounds you up and then attacks you like from one of the sides, like a U-turn. You know what I mean? In a way. So this is one of those things I noticed. And when she enters the Miasma stage, she will actually be very relentless. I noticed, don't ult in the next 5 seconds or so, because she will start a certain attack that where she seeps around the arena and attacks you. And if you, for instance, try to ult with Shufufu, one of her attacks will probably miss, which happened on my video. I noticed that one. Yeah, so she will have like a little red flash wave attack where she seeps around. So you better try to either dodge it if you have the option. Maybe you can interrupt it with Yuzuha. I haven't tried that one yet because I didn't play with Yuzuha on that against Defector. So maybe you can interrupt her in this regard, or with Caesar.
You might be. Yeah, I was just gonna say Caesar would probably be another way to, or it might be you have to chain them together. Like,
maybe, but she's very agile and fast, as I said. So the best thing you can do is basically dodge, and after she finished her zip-zapping around, then you can actually use her ult, use your ult, and snag her miasma bar. This is what, from my little fighting in the past few days in the Shiyu against her, this is what I noticed.
See, I fought her with Evelyn, so I didn't really run into any of that. I was running Evelyn C. Jufufu against her, and that was first off, great team, fun as hell. Second off, Evelyn kind of doesn't really run into that, because even if the camera does like flip around, usually you're just going to be in the middle of your chain attack anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I didn't really notice it. That's interesting that that's a thing. I
really like her general animations, just like not even specific to like her mechanics. I just really like her animations overall. It's like feels very fluid, nice looking. She has the like sword and gun like thing that like might be a sand switch that Softy mentioned earlier, but it's like, I like how agile she is, as Blood had mentioned. I like, it's an active fight and also has like a fair bit going on at very specific times. The Miasma Shield animation and like the sequence of attacks that happens there, I think is like, it's extremely cool. It's like, looking at it, it's actually one of my favorites of the doppelgangers currently.
Nice.
I'm gonna say two things. I'm glad she doesn't have a huge amount of iframes, and I'm glad that she doesn't break my speakers whenever she speaks. I don't know if you guys run into that, but the Defiler is so loud.
Yeah, that's
There's one other thing I like about this doppelganger is that she's actually taller. So like it's easier to see her movements because of that compared to your other characters.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that I guess at least for the little guys, they've realized that invincibility waves aren't very fun. Like, people like being able to dodge out of the way and weave in an attack, while, even if you're not as skilled, people don't like their attacks being invalidated, especially for timed waves.
Yeah, this the Defector's miasma shield feels a lot more akin to the priest in that regard. It's very they're all the same people, so I don't get why Defiler is the sore thumb, but it is what it is, I guess. It's do your thing, Hoyo, I guess.
Well, no, Miasma Priest isn't actually her. That was the body double, remember?
We're getting to spoilers because I actually not done the story yet.
Oh, well.
Hey, man.
No, that's not my own fault, so you can spoil all you want.
So yeah, for people who don't know, during the story, you think you took down Mevarok or whatever they call her, but turns out it was just someone imitating her as kind of like a body double. That's who the Miasma Priest is. Is just some random body double that was pretending to be Isolde.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Whoops, spoiler warning.
Spoiler.
Spoiled
me.
I did kind of think that it was like not quite that, because she comes out of the like miasma bubble in the Exaltist like base, but was she just resting there the whole time? And I guess because what happened was with the like this is a bit of a tangent, but with Mevarok going from like fighting Yi Xuan to back to the Exaltists hideout, that was like they encountered Yi Xuan basically on purpose in order to get the memories of Yi's sister, and to make the miasmic fiends out of that. So like logically to me it doesn't make sense that they're a body double, but I haven't looked that much into that specific part of the lore.
I mean, it's been a while since I did the story, but if I remember correctly, we had an immediate sequence after the first, basically, death of Mevarok. We switched in and suddenly the priest was there and talked about it. Everything is according to plan. So probably it was not someone else, but maybe just like a clone. Like shadow.
I mean, we have established that is technology in the lore, but
yeah, I mean, it's whatever. But yeah,
the inner workings of how they control miasma are still yet to be fully revealed. So maybe we'll get a little more insight on that later. But I'll have to spend too long on that.
I just sit here as probably one of the only people who love the Defiler. I just wanted to point that out since Chap was talking about I hate it.
I don't hate it. I like it.
We will touch Defiler in like about another 5-10 minutes after we maybe just say anything we want to say about Hans.
This has been a just general glaze fest for the Defector and Isolde in general. Like, while we're talking about the lore, she's a very well-written character. And
yeah, she is.
You should play the story soon.
So. Yeah.
I should play the story soon. You are correct. I'll have plenty of time coming soon, but we won't go into that drama.
She has 2 very big story plots. You definitely have to watch it.
I very much enjoyed the story. Yeah.
So let's go to Hans, our awesome robot. like this guy is super funny. He stomps around and then you kill him, right?
You gotta watch those stomps. So even if the stomp is not right next to you, you can still get staggered. I just noticed that a couple times when I was facing him that the stomp was not going to be right next to me, but I still got hit or staggered by it. So if you see them stomping at least one of his feet, even not by you, better be ready to dodge.
Yeah, it's a pretty big hitbox. It's more like a ground tremor type thing. Similar to Friday's big pile like driver attack, but for some reason on Hans instead. I think Greta also has it. But yeah, just basically the claw parts of the UCC kind of mechanic as a whole has a thing that kind of lobs rocks at you.
All right, we're back, and I think we're good on recording. So let's go to. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot. Let's try to start this again. All right, let's get started on. No, let's not do that. So let's go over. Wow, I am totally failing on introing this next part.
It's all right. It's an outtake. It's a blooper. Don't worry about it.
All right, let's go to Shiyu, or not Shiyu. Gosh damn it, Deadly Assault. Let's go to Deadly Assault now. All right, sorry about that. Let's go to Deadly Assault. What do you guys think of the bosses that are bosses that came out? Are they a little aggressive for you guys?
I have missed Pompey because I like Pompey, and also my best team is Crit Bernice, and she scores good and I'm happy. I can get 50Ks again, guys. It's so chill.
Oh, his Bernice addiction is getting to him. How many days has it been the last since you listened to Mocktails Mixer's Eyes?
It may or may not be my wake-up ringtone.
That's insane.
Awesome. Oh, I love that. Perfect.
So
yeah, well, if you're glazing Pompey, I have to glaze the Defiler. Still to this day, I love the fight. In this time around, I actually played with Chingy, Nicole, and Trigger, and also actually got over 30k with this team. So yeah, I also had a lot of fun with that one, and Dead and Butcher was again done with my fake Mono Eyes, Yuzu, Sukaku, and Miyabi. So yeah, I think this Shiyu, I think compared to the last one, was way easier because there were also less complaints about
all the ice resistance and everything being anti-Miyabi.
Exactly. So for me, I'm happy with it. I also had fun with the Pompey fight since I also used Sevadra Crit Knees.
Let's go.
Yeah. With Astra, Bernice, and Fufu because I don't have Lighter. And I got 33k. I'm actually proud of it, especially since I don't have Bernice sick, and I don't have her. I don't have any mindscapes of her, so I'm happy with that result, honestly.
Proud of you, because that's a struggle for Bernice without her Sig or her M1. I remember those days.
Yeah. I mean, I use Miyabi Sig, which is a very good replacement, but yeah, you still miss a few things. Yeah. So I think what I'm doing is I use Miyabi Sig, and I use the 4-piece Miyabi discs. What was the Blade and Branch? So I have to deal with that. Sadly, I can't use any fire disc sets, which give you crit rate, because I don't have them. I need to invest I need to invest in that set for future Bernice shenanigans. So yeah, that's my part.
Yeah, basically
How proud-
every double like disc drops I play is just goes into Branch and Blade song and Astral Voice for 3 days, and then Puff for Electro and Inferno Metal for 3 days. It's
That's how you do it.
it's a wonder how I have a 40 sub Critneus. Crazy, I know.
Damn, it's like you invested in that.
Weird.
So
Let's continue with Pompey. The fact that he's back, and I think he just got a little more aggressive than the last time.
it's the same, isn't it?
I think he's been the same as he always has.
It might just be
hasn't
it's
on
been
the
a couple of cycles, so people kind of forgot a little bit. But like once you get the most memory back going, it feels very similar to the last time I properly tryharded Pompey, which was several months ago at this point. But yeah, just a generally like very aggressive boss, kind of par for the course for like how I feel Pompey should be. Yeah, I don't have anything of special note for him specifically.
You do gotta remember, I think it's between 16k and 18k, or somewhere between there. You will see the he'll go into a spinning invulnerable state. So just be on the watch out for that. It's around that time. It's after like 16k points and 18k, but it can be even more after that. But you will get that little spin.
I think it's time dependent more than score dependent, unless you're like gonna be on pace to kill him within like 2 minutes or something, like Kete was.
It's score dependent.
I see.
Because no matter what, you'll get hit with that circle. Like, yeah.
The ability to prevent it is a little strange. It involves, like, as a reminder, I think we talked about this, but it involves like pointing like Pompey to be looking in like the northeast corner of the arena, and also making sure that you keep up the weakening stacks on him so that he's continually staggered by defensive assists. And it's really hard to do with most agents, but Evelyn and Jafufu make it extremely easy to keep up those stacks because of using chain attacks out of stun. So if you're having trouble with that, it's why Evelyn is so good on that fight. It's just because like she can skip the donut really easily. Jafufu as well.
Jufufu as well, yeah. Her just being able to constantly fire off chain attacks makes that fight go from relatively tough to like you can always keep the weakening stacks up. Speaking of that, combining, if there's a boss that if you're pulling for Orpheus this week, like Pompey should be the one that'll get mauled by any team comp that she's a part of, as long as it doesn't include exactly like Seed or something like that.
Yep.
Because like I did Pompey with a few different teams. Most of them include Evelyn and Orpheus. So if you got them, you'll be fine against him.
Definitely a weakness dependent boss. If you have the fire, you can take it down easily.
Yeah.
Butcher's back. Do you guys have anything to say about Butcher?
I still hate how he feels pretty anomaly locked. It's the same thing as Defiler, but in the reverse. Like,
I highly agree with you, because one thing I tried against Butcher was Miyabi wheelchair of Miyabi, Nicole, and Astra, and that performed worse out of all the regular anomaly teams I put against him. So he is really much a disorder shilling boss that you need to make sure you have that team ready for.
Yeah, and if you don't, you will likely struggle. Even if you match his weakness. Again, when we get to the Defiler, we've already kind of gone over a little bit today, but like, it's just it feels really bad not being able to use team members, even if their matchups line up, and it really sucks. And
yeah, I had the exact weaknesses for Butcher, which was Ice from Miyabi and Ether from both Nicole and Astra, but it did not work because there was not enough disorders triggering. So
that being said, if you have Yanagi, if you have Alice, you'll likely be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can pair them with anyone and it'll work, but he needs that disorder if you want to deal significant damage to him.
Yeah, anything that is a disorder anomaly comp works usually, like Jane Bernice, Jane Vivian, Miyabi Bernice, Miyabi Vivian, or Miyabi Yanagi. I think everything anomaly usually works pretty decently. I mean, I also had an interesting fight from one of our DA challenges with the Butcher, and that was with Hugo. And it actually works also pretty well, which is funny enough. You can daze him really fast. So Lycon, Pulcra, and Hugo is actually a thing that works against the Dead End Butcher if you get the rotation right. It just takes a little bit of training time, but it works pretty well. So there are ways to go with, to beat him. Those people who have Yizhuan also have can have a pretty decent time if you support Yizhuan with Yuzuha or Astra, or maybe even both if you have summoned for those meta characters, basically. But there's plenty of ways how you can kill it. Still, there's options. Just if you use Attacker or Rupture against the Butcher, of course, keep in mind it won't probably perform as good as the anomaly characters due to the buffs and stages and the boss itself. So that's that.
I have been seeing a pretty fair bit of variety from for Butcher specifically, but also Pompey in some degrees for the tournament that I'm doing in the Battle Hub server. If you're unfamiliar, we are all from the Battle Hub server. We talk about it at the end of every episode usually, but there is a tournament going on right now, and this tournament has kind of had people on their toes a little bit because the newest agents for Seed and Orpheus are not allowed in the tournament. So it's kind of made people think a little bit. And while most of the matches I see on Butcher are mostly anomaly focused, I have seen a fair few runs with specifically Yizhuan, but also like not anomaly agents overall. Did see the Hugo run that Thirsty Blood mentioned. I remember also like doing myself as well. I've done Juyen on the Butcher once or twice, and it was better than I thought it would be for how much more anomaly favoring Butcher is. But that is all to say that there are things that work. It's harder, but there are things that work if you're in a pinch.
Yeah, it's just, you will, as a casual player, have a significantly easier time if you have an anomaly team, or at least a team that can dish out a substantial amount of anomaly.
Of course, and I mean, there's so many different perspectives, so there is hardly a right or wrong. In my eyes, for me, it is pretty well balanced. If you have an easy time with, like, if we go specifically to Butcher, if you have an easy time with the anomaly agents, but still can clear with all the other categories, but it will be just a little bit harder, but still, you know, manageable on a certain kind of level you have to reach though. So it is fine for me, and I have you weren't in the last podcast, but I had a little longer talk about this topic. But the key instance here, and this is just my opinion, my subjective side. I was one of those people who actually had the suggestion in the surveys that the bosses have exactly this thing, where they are a little bit more concentrated on the anomaly or attacker, or maybe in the future even the rupture side, but still are so balanced that you can still clear it with other classes, but not as easy, of course. So for me, it is a perfect gameplay. But yeah, again, it's just subjective, so it's hard to tell anyone, yeah, this is wrong or this is right. Just to point that out.
I think in the dynamic of being a long-term player, kind of naturally inclined to like spread yourself in terms of the archetypes, and not everyone wants to do that. So I see where Chap's coming from.
Yeah, I
also see where you're coming from. I don't think it's a discussion we need to rehash. It's just like that's kind of just how the Butcher is gonna be, but there's gonna be stuff like Butcher, there's gonna be stuff like Defiler. There might be something for Rupture in the future. But I think
God help us all with that.
That'll definitely be great when they finally definitely increase base defense just across the board. That'll be a good time.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. This will be very interesting. I can't wait for all the drama.
All right. Finally, I want to go back to Defiler a little bit. I know we talked about him last boss and how fun Thirsty Blood had with him, but
Creator, defile me.
I wanted to go over like just a couple of things that R2 sort of like did in his video for the boss guide on him. The fact that when he does his little this first parryable attack where he pushes you away, I've seen myself and others like, you gotta push, you gotta back up in order to parry that the X or the dashes, however you want to
the blades
describe it. The blades, that's a better way to put it. So the blades, you gotta back up in order to parry them. If you do not back up, he will not hit you with them, and you'll lose those points.
Yeah, there's like it kind of like pushes you away like naturally once the like text comes on screen. If you like try to close the distance there, then you end up underneath Defiler when she starts throwing the blades, and the defensive assist doesn't come through because the blades are always aimed towards like the edge of the arena where she basically isn't. So she's like firing at you from across the field, or like at least towards the middle of the field. So just like when she pushes you away, you stay away and like hit the defensive assist. There is also slight particularity with that and doing the parries, like all three of them with one agent that I mentioned last time. I still believe it's a distance thing. It's felt better for me when I kind of like stick to a wall that's perpendicular. It's like off to the side, but not specifically like on the opposite side of the arena. But yeah, it's you just get some distance, and then she'll fall down, and you can go back to her then.
It's actually interesting because I think I can't remember a fight against the Defiler where I had issues with the blades, or specifically like run backwards or so. Most of the time I just stood there and waited until they come. So that's interesting. I didn't know, honestly.
Yeah. And then my other thing I wanted to say is the fin. How much damage do you guys think it's really hard to get that fin taken down, or is it actually quite easy, even though the repercussions if you don't?
I think it's really easy with crit agents. I mean, obviously, given that it's based on raw damage, crit agents, like, it's substantially easier to deal with it for them than it is for anomaly agents. If you are in a special case of having a anomaly agent built for crit for some like thing like I've seen,
Certified
Bernice is kind of
Certified Miyabi and Bernice moment.
yeah, Miyabi handles it the best, but Bernice is also there. I've seen some Vivians, I've seen some Yanagis. That's basically the only case where they do fine with it, with basic attacks and maybe one EX or so. Otherwise, for anomaly agents, you're kind of spending at least one ultimate for kind of taking it down, and it's usually your support ultimate. So having those like subs on your support actually matter in those situations, because it's again all raw damage. You just want to capitalize on that.
Reminds me, I also played with DPS stun Jingyi this time around, so just 2 stunners, 1 support. It actually, you noticed of course a little bit less damage than a usual attacker, but I think with Jingyi alone I just used 1 X special attack, and then I used first hand Nicole EX, and then I used Jingyi. And it worked pretty solid. It was down pretty fast. Compared to the Bringer hand, it is very easy, honestly, for the time window.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to go over those key moments because I think that's what people have troubles with the most during the fight, is those 2 moments, and that's why I wanted to talk about those in general.
That's fine, that's fine.
If you want
Honestly,
further
the
detail
break
as to specific stuff for the Defiler, Softy mentioned it, but R2's boss manual guide, very good. Very short, very digestible. Breaks down the boss in its most important fashions. Doesn't quite go into stuff like attack strings from the boss itself or anything like that, but you get the key mechanics of the boss explained in there if you want a further explanation. Probably link in the description, surely.
Yeah, we can link
Maybe.
it. We'll just write it by R2 before we do so.
Yeah, when it comes to the Defiler, like my bias kind of shows because my account is very much DPS focused. So I don't really have trouble with Defiler, but I know since the early like anomaly meta stuff, people do struggle if they have heavily focused on anomalies. It's kind of the same criticisms that I have with Butcher, where just in the opposite direction. And again, you can see where my biases show up. So
It's okay. It's an opinion. It is valid. So yeah, don't worry about it. We understand.
yeah.
Well, we hit the 50-minute mark, I believe. I had to stop this recording and do a second part of it. But so let's go into our off topic here on the disc sets, because we can't really go on the off topic of the patch 2.3 because this recording will come either right after or around the time that it comes out. So the new disc sets, Dawn. Oh my goodness, you gotta tell me
Dawn's Bloom.
what.
Dawn's
Thank you,
Bloom
Dawn's
and
Bloom.
Moonlight Lullaby.
Yeah, how are you guys liking these new disc sets compared to their counterparts?
Moonlight Lullaby has been an overperformer. Dawn's Bloom has been a significant underperformer.
I think that's
Yeah.
everybody's sentiment on that.
It's a very strange case of just being a. It's weird because it felt like while the people from the creator servers were trying to get their calcs up, like kind of determine the value for Dawn's Bloom being on agents outside of Seed, it was kind of going to be a thing of, since we know they're releasing in a domain together, it's sort of dead in the water. It basically feels like the Woodpecker domain, in that Woodpecker is a disc you always want to get, and then Soul Rock is the most forgettable set in the game. Dawn's Bloom is going to be kind of the same, except like it's still good for seed and has niche uses on other agents, but not justifiable enough to the point where you regularly want to get those discs. Like you want at least one. I would recommend two if you have more supports than just the standard supports. I'm gonna personally have at least 3 Moonlight Lullaby sets just kind of ready to use at any given time, because like it's just that good.
It's really good. Yeah,
it replaces Astral Voice in most teams without Astra, and even with Astra,
it's still
you
a close
can put
second.
it on Astra, and it maintained itself just fine. You can even use both Astral Voice and Moonlight Lullaby if you're running a double support type of composition, and it has also brought about the extremely hilarious situation of letting you use Astral Voice on your DPS if the situation calls for it, and you're using like Moonlight and another support set like King of the Summit or Swing Jazz. It's very funny where this has kind of landed for Moonlight Lullaby. So I like it personally, but I agree with Chap. It's kind of overperforming, but I think it's doing that to kind of offset how much power Astral Voice has had, and also be more accessible to players, like in terms of what you have to play like in order to use it. Because Astral is kind of hard to use when you're not using Astral or like Nicole or Lucy, in my opinion. Like
Especially
Sokaku,
since they
fine,
still
but
don't,
people don't know how to use Sokaku.
especially since they still don't give us a proper visualization of the stacks. Please,
Also that.
beg you.
I need disc buffs to be in this 2.3 live stream. I need it,
Yes.
and I will like actually cry tears of joy.
Man, I would prefer disc loadouts before seeing disc buffs, honestly. But
I want both.
I mean, both.
But I think
I mean both. Yeah, both.
disc
but
buffs is the higher priority as it's more accessible.
really,
Mhm.
okay, this is interesting.
Like,
But yeah, I
always.
have. Oh, sorry. Continue.
I was
sorry.
gonna say, I always
Well,
want
I-
the Hormone Punk. Is always the one that I want to know the buff for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
The overperforming of Moonlight Lullaby though leads us very nicely onto why Dawn's Bloom is so underperforming. Because on paper, Dawn's Bloom seems crazy, right? It seems like such a huge buff to your basic attacks that you like. Surely Zhu Yuan or Evelyn, or not Evelyn, Ellen would love that, right? Well, that's where kind of like the weirdness with Zenless's DPS math comes in, right? Where percent bonuses get applied so often compared to like crit damage, right? It's why characters like Jufufu do have a lot of value attached to them, because they don't just buff flat damage, they buff crit damage and crit rate, you know?
True.
But Dawn's Bloom only applies that to your basic attacks, and it's still only a flat percentage bump, which is way, way less impactful than any other buff you could give them. The only one it really helps is Seed, but that's because she just gives herself so much crit damage anyway. You know?
I haven't really.
That makes any sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense, but I have to admit I haven't really put much, let's say, thought into Dawn's Bloom. I don't really have it on my roster. I think I deleted all of the discs I got because they were bad anyways with the substats. So, and that's that.
Yeah.
I put my 3000 stamina into the domain for lullaby discs. I got a pretty decent injection of gold disc materials to use from the Dawn's Blooms that I just fully discarded, except for a rare few that had exceptional substats. And I am eventually going to get a set to use for comparison purposes on like a couple of other agents that I want to try it on just to see for myself, but it's not on the priority list for me, and I would not recommend having the set if you don't have seed, period.
Even if you do have seed, like, it's only marginally better than like giving her hormone punk or something like that.
Like
it's like
its benefit is convenience, and that's mostly like if you use seed optimally, you don't even want the set, but for most like purposes of just kind of how you would normally play seed, if you're not doing like an optimal rotation, the set is okay, not great, but okay.
Yeah, it's probably one of the worst discs they've made. Not because the numbers on paper are bad. It's just kind of the way that the math in Zenless shapes up. That it makes it so that it's not valuable to the characters that you think it would be valuable on, and for everyone else, it barely affects them. Because like Evelyn, for example, very much does not want Dawn's Bloom, right? She doesn't want to be using her basic attack. She wants to be using her chain attack. You know, Zhu Yuan, you'd think, would benefit from it, but she benefits more from attack and crit damage and crit rate. Because ideally the rest of your supports are giving you that percent. So, like, maybe Soldier 11, but again, you'd almost be better to just do 4-piece Woodpecker. It's just not good.
I mean, the only thing that might happen is that it is for now a sleeper disc set, and maybe will get more relevant in the future. This could happen if the devs decide, okay, we will make a character that relies on that one. This is just pure assumption. It could be maybe play a more important role in the future, but other than that, there are better alternatives. Also, most people have invested already a lot in Woodpecker or Hormone Punk or the pen ratio discs or whatever. So farming a complete new disc set maybe is not the intention for most of the people. So yeah, I think the majority of us have farmed the new support disc set, me included. And I have used what you said before, Sevadra, in my Yuzo Mono Ice team. I have actually used both Astral and the Moonblue, not Dawn's Bloom, the
Moonlight Lullaby.
Yeah, thank you, Moonlight Lullaby disc set for the extra more attack. And it actually performed better than the other set I used. I forgot which one it was, but I think it was Chain Attack or whatever. So yeah, that's that. It's pretty, combining these two is pretty good, honestly. A lot of attack.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I mean
I only wish that for the 4-piece was not so attack character reliant, because just in case Ihari was like going to be using more her basic attacks than before. I think it would have been nice to have that not attack incentive, rather it just be generic.
I think Seed is a bit of an odd case when it comes to like the necessity to do basic attacks period, because like roughly speaking her damage distribution comes out to be like the majority of her damage comes from basic attacks, and it's like anywhere from various calcs I've seen goes in the like 60 to 70% range of her damage distribution, which is very odd considering that she does also have the, you know, highest motion value for ultimates in the game at 7,000%, or like just below 7,000%. And that's like very odd to look at when it's like your damage, your highest source of damage is not going to be something that's relatively as high of a motion value, because, you know, ultimates are a rare attack, and like that's kind of the like dynamic of the game as a whole. You know, you have to build more resources to use ultimates compared to doing basic attacks. It's mostly free. You get like enhanced basic attacks that you have to do specific things for, but in terms of the like design of characters overall, like as we've seen them, I haven't paid attention to motion values as they've like developed, but like it's really odd to me that you would like prefer what's essentially 55% damage bonus on just basic attacks when I guess you're using them more, and I don't feel like the relative increase of like Seed's like enhanced basic attack, I don't remember what it's specifically called, but like the down punch, I feel like the increase of that motion value like on that move specifically compared to the increase of motion value on her ultimate, it's odd to still see that you're like the majority of her damage is basic attacks when you like factor in not even just the ultimate, but all of her other moves as well. Like, I don't think her motion values are great comparatively, but I haven't looked too much into that. It's just very odd to see. And I do feel like even having that one basic attack like stack on Woodpecker would be infinitely more valuable at that point, but maybe I'm wrong.
It's just from playing her, right? It's really just that slam that skews the numbers. That slam does so much damage. Like, the only thing I can compare it to would be Hugo's like EX, and like Hugo obviously does way more damage in one hit than Seed does, but that's what I compare it to. Then it skews the numbers so much. Because like for Hugo, like 95% of his damage comes from his EX, and then the other 5 is his ultimate. So I don't know. That's kind of just what I'd compare it to. That big slam.
Glad somebody who pulled for Seed can actually talk about it, because we are not people, or I don't think any of us pulled for Seed.
I didn't pull for Seed myself, but I have been playing an account that has Seed.
Yeah,
so I have been using her.
I've been playing Seed, and I've been using her. And she's like, your entire goal with her is to get that slam. You almost don't want to do her basic attack chain, because you would rather dodge attack or like tag her in so that you can get the punch.
It has better build up than just the basic string.
Yeah.
So like, it's a weird word, but like you get more what's the resource called? Steel charge?
Yeah, steel charge, something like that. I don't know. The bar. Seed's bar.
The bar. Yeah, it's called steel charge. Okay.
High.
Yeah, like That's all it is. Like you don't want to be using her basic attack combo if you can avoid it, unless, this is super specific, she's insane at grouping mobs. Like you do her full 5-hit combo on Shiyu defense, a little bit of a tangent, it will group all of the mobs together in one place.
This is interesting.
Because her like, I think it's her basic attack 4, the one that does like the swirl, has a way bigger range than it looks like it does. So
I'm looking at some numbers here from Hakushin, which is a database that has basically all the like kind of hidden like agent stat stuff, and they alongside that a collection of the motion values. I'm doing a like look at comparison of Seed's basic attack, falling petals, downfall second, which is the big punch thing, compared to Miyabi's basic attack, Shimatsuki 3. And I'm noticing that Seed's value for the punch Seed's motion value for the punch, the percentage is almost half of that of the charge of the basic 3, like Shimatsuki. For those who don't know specifically, Shimatsuki 3 is the enhanced basic 3, aka the big basic attack that Miyabi likes to do, that you want to generate the 6 Fallen Frost stacks for. And
it's Judgment Cut. The Judgment Cut.
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
I just an observation, like that it's half of that value, because you are looking at that and like this is the only other like big basic attack motion value that I can think of. I cannot think of many other agents, period, that like have as much focus on their basic attacks to where the values would be nearly that high. And like most agents that I'm seeing otherwise are in the like 400 to 600 range for basic attacks on like specifically that.
What's it for Evelyn?
For Evelyn, her basic attack for the Garrett moves, which I forget which ones those. Oh yeah, for like turning the burning embers into burning tethers. Those are at 450 and 490% for first and second form. So otherwise, most of her basic attacks are in like the 400-300% range. Like, not too high, but yeah.
I think Corrin's 5th attack is around the 600 upwards, something like that, as far as I know.
Seth's hold basic attack is also kind of up there, but not too much, but it's in the like 800% like factor. So yeah, there's like the Seed is kind of just a standout agent in that regard, like having higher basic attack like damage motion values. It's just an observation to make. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Just basically saying that Seed's weird and she's the exception when it looping it back around to this whole tangent that we did. She's the exception to Dawn's loop. She's like,
oh wait, I just wait a minute. Why is this like this? Apparently, I'm wrong, and there's a second exception in Alice, whose third stage Starshine Waltz motion value is 1931%, which is essentially the same as Seed's big punch motion value.
Oh.
Huh. Funny. Okay.
shame she can't use.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So that actually makes sense as to why they limited to just attacks, because Anomaly would have been wanting the set actually then.
Fascinating.
Anyway, that was a long tangent.
That's a
Yeah,
long
it's my
tangent
bad.
that explains a lot, actually.
I started looking at numbers. That's my fault. We can wrap this up.
All right. Well,
Numbers.
It is about that time. Before we go, I want to say the bosses for next week, DA, is the Miasmic Fiend, Unknown Corruption Complex, and the Miasmic Priest. And I'm going to be sad because I hate the Unknown Corruption Complex. I'm going to be not happy about facing that boss this next come around. But otherwise, yeah, we got some old favorites coming back here.
Let's go.
All right, guys, where can we find each other? Savadra, where can we find you?
You can find me in the trenches of the Battle Hub server, as I have been on a mission, and that mission is the Battle Frenzy, where we have been in the definitely real and canon Corteva Hollow, duking it out amongst a course of 4 weeks and 3 endgame cycles, including this Shiyu and Deadly Assault cycle that have been talked about in this podcast, and then the following Deadly Assault cycle that will start at the end of this week when the podcast is uploaded. But I have been basically entire body deep in doing everything for that tournament that I can, and it has been a fun time. We stream some matches over on the Zenless Fights Twitch channel.
We'll link that one.
And otherwise, are just kind of chilling out in the Battle Hub server, as has been mentioned numerous times. Please send help for me. I am suffering.
He is indeed.
What do you
love.
mean?
We send you our love.
Yeah, we got your back.
Thirsty, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm also a member of the Battle Hub server. Basically, not a member, but the owner, and I am enslaving Savadra to do his job because I'm paying him. Not.
I'm blinking twice. The blink twice means I'm in danger. That's what it means, right?
No, he's doing a great job. I'm primarily on the Battle Hub server in my little private server, and I'm the admin on another server for another content creator. I have a YouTube channel in which I post random stuff about ZZZ gameplay, but also in the future an analytic video for each future patch about the endgame balance mode. This will be definitely one of my highlights, which I'm preparing for. Yeah, that's basically it for that one. We have also Softimage, who also has a YouTube account.
Yes, I also do YouTube for DA runs. Last week, I was just so busy and sick that I did not do it for that DA run, or the one we just talked about right now. But otherwise, I usually do a unique run of, or unique filming of that run. So hopefully you guys like it, and I will have it up for next week or have mine going on next DA run. Chap, we can find you at the Battle Hub, right?
Yep, you can find me there, or I'm sure you'll see me. I appear in weird places.
He's sneaking behind the shadows of the Battle Hub.
I'm around. I represent more of a casual enjoyer, so.
Which is perfectly fine. We are glad to have you as well on board.
And with that, we're signing out. You guys have a good one.
Take it easy, y'all.
Cheers.